Ladies and gentlemen, today I will be picking out my favorite Ratchet & Clank level from every single Ratchet & Clank game. Everybody knows there's been multiple Ratchet & Clank games on multiple PlayStation platforms starting from the PS2 all the way onto the PS5 now. And almost every single game has had unique levels, some returning, but mostly they're all new levels. And they're just beautiful, awesome. And they all kind of have their own story, but there's always one that just sticks out from the rest of them. So I'm going to be picking my personal favorites out of the entire franchise. It's okay if you guys disagree with me. This is just strictly my opinion. I just have to let that be known. It is just my opinion. So hate me as much as you want in the comments. You can have your own opinion. It's okay. Without further ado, let's move on to the game that started it all. The first game in the franchise has a lot of good levels, but there's only one that is just so perfect and nostalgic, in my opinion. Now, before I just blatantly reveal which planet is my favorite, there are a few runner-ups that I would like to mention. And one of them is going to be Gemlik Moonbase, and this is for having some of the best music ever. I mean, it's a straight banger, and if it wasn't for the difficulty / Quark fight, I would definitely put this at number 1. Rilgar is also a very memorable level, but it is also very traumatizing because of the whole sewer waters rising situation. That was horrific as a kid. So I think those two deserve a shout out for just being really good levels, but in my opinion, not the best. In my opinion, the best level just has to go to Kerwan. This level is so memorable, and it's just so simple. It has so much fun areas to explore, and to go along with it, you literally get the most memorable song in the entire Ratchet & Clank franchise. This song is Ratchet & Clank. I would be insane not to pick this level. Ratchet & Clank Going Commando has some of the best level designs in the franchise, at least in my opinion. From the battle arena casinos of Maktar Nebula, to the squirrel-infested Megacorp weapons testing facility on Tidana, or even just to the beautiful forests of Joba. I mean, so many of these levels are so beautiful, but in my opinion, I think there's an obvious choice here. It's one of the most memorable planets. We can all think about it. The music is a banger, and overall, it's just such a good turning point in the game. And I'm going to have to give the edge to Bolden. Silver City Bolden, one of the greatest levels in the franchise. So iconic. Up Your Arsenal took a more musical approach with the levels, giving them all banger soundtracks, but not as impressive level design. Don't get me wrong, there are still amazing levels and environments, just not as good as the ones from Going Commando. When it comes to my favorite, it's a little bit tricky for me. As much as I love rummaging through all these studio sets in Hollowstar, or getting my ass handed to me on Thran Asteroid Belt, I'd have to give the edge to Dax. The weapons facility is so awesome and has some of the best areas in the entire game, such as the gunship fight, getting the ability to obtain the charge boots, and even the announcer lady giving snide comments about canceling my Casual Friday. Like, how could you, dude? I love Casual Friday. But anyways, I mean, Dax is an amazing planet. It's one of the most expansive planets in Ouya, and I couldn't be happier every time I land on this planet. Ratchet Deadlocked is a pretty simple choice for me. As much as I love Shar, which is where you're able to get the Scorpion Flail, I'd be crazy not to give it to the Ghost Station. This level is by far the most fun level in the game, and it has the biggest banger of a soundtrack, dude. It's also like the hardest level in the game, and it's such an awesome hype. Right after beating Ace Hardlight, you just go to this freaking Ghost Station. Right afterwards, take down Vox, dude. It's such an amazing just feel. It just feels right. And yeah, that's why this one was such an easy pick for me personally. Next up, we have Ratchet & Clank Size Matters. To be honest, as much as people hate on this game, I actually really like a lot of the levels. That being said, Rylus and Dreamtime are automatically eliminated from this discussion. Do not even mention them in the comments. I think when it comes to design, overall, I think Dany Moon and Chalix are some of the best levels when it comes to the combat and just the overall concept of the level. Having to shrink down, actually use the shrink ray just to access the level, I think is a pretty cool concept. But I think being inside Clank is way cooler, if you catch my drift. Pause though. For real, I think the inside of Clank level is just so freaking awesome. It's a very unique experience. You never thought it would be a level, but at the same time, the design is just so freaking cool. You get in that section where like you're in Clank's head, you're in all of his circuitry. It's weird, but I feel like they nailed it. Also, they were in the studio when it came to the soundtrack for Inside Clank. It is an absolute banger. I know I'm saying that a lot, but dude, these first few games, the soundtrack was on point. Secret Agent Clank. I really like most of the Clank levels in this game. Obviously, there are some really bad planets, like the ones where you literally walk 5 feet and then proceed to dance for 10 minutes, and then snowboard for what feels like 5 hours. That level clearly is not winning. But I think the Bull Terror Museum itself loses the edge just because it's too short in my opinion. Otherwise, I think that would be a really, really good level and a contender at the best level. But I think the best level has to go to Fort Sprocket. This level just has some amazing platforming, and the combat is literally what you love to see in a Ratchet & Clank game. And this is also where all of the galaxy's bolts were created, so that's kind of a plus, I guess. It's also Secret Agent Clank, so you know, you can only do so good. Ratchet & Clank Tools of Destruction. This game was a really, really tough pick for me. With this being the introduction to Ratchet & Clank in HD, Tools of Destruction has some really expansive and fun levels, really utilizing the HD of the PS3. Some of my favorites are Mukau with the arena, Zordoom Prison is a banger, Sargasso is so expansive, and Riken 5 is really combat heavy, which I personally like. But I think the most memorable and fun level, in my opinion, has to be the Creeley Comet. Maybe that's a hot take, but this pirate level is so much fun in my opinion. Utilizing the pirate disguise to shake your booty and dance your way through this level while challenging tough and plentiful enemies in search for the Irish supercomputer is just such a blast in my opinion, and I think it's without a doubt in my mind my favorite level. It's very, very fun. Next up we have Ratchet & Clank Quest for Booty. Now technically this game only features one planet, but it has multiple sections of a planet. But even if we're going off of just that, none of these sections are super notable. But I guess if I really had to pick one, which obviously I do, that's why I'm making this video, I'm going to pick the Morrow Caverns as my favorite. This is also where Insomniac got copyrighted for having I'm a Little Teacup. L's in the comments for Insomniac. Ratchet & Clank A Crack in Time. Now this is going to be a hot take. I love Crack in Time. It is literally my second or third favorite Ratchet game in the franchise. But in my brutal, honest opinion, none of the levels are all that great. Don't get me wrong. Levels are fun and beautiful, and they look way better than any other PS3 Ratchet game. But overall, they're all just kind of the same premise and overall concept in my opinion. None of them really stick out as the best. I will say, Creel Canyon is a really good one in my opinion because it just has a lot going on. The level starts with some story building in a cave. Ratchet and Azimuth talk about Ratchet's father and the past with them. And then before long, by the end of the cave, it gets really, really emotional and you learn why Azimuth is not with the Lombax as he betrayed them. This is a really heartfelt moment for us Ratchet fans. So it's one of the biggest turning points of the plot. And then right after all of that freaking emotion, you get smacked in the face with some of the best, most action-packed combat the entire game has to offer. There's so many enemies and so many collectibles to go around. You could be in this level for hours if you really wanted to be. And then after all that combat, you end with another cave section. And we get to talk to Clank then, which is the first time we've been able to communicate with Clank in the entire game. So again, another amazing turning point for the plot. So I feel like Creel Canyon has to win this one. Ratchet & Clank All for One. This is going to sound extremely basic, but I really don't remember any of the levels in this game. I only remember Luminopolis, I don't even know how to say this, Alderos Plains, and that stupid snow level with way too many enemies that literally never stopped spawning. If you guys saw the stream, you know what I'm talking about. Out of these few I remembered, I'd have to give it to the Alderos Plains though. Good job for being memorable, I guess. Next up is Ratchet & Clank Full Frontal Assault. This game only features 4 levels. That's right, 4 levels, and one of them is a boss stage, so it doesn't even count. I think the Corgun Refinery is a good level, but I don't think it's the best just due to the simplicity. It's a very, very simple planet. On the other hand, I think the GrumbleNet Plasma Harvesters is just way too big, and it's so confusing. It takes way too long to find all of the weapon pods, especially the powerful ones that have the Warmonger. It takes me like 20 minutes each time just to find those. And that's why I just have to give the edge to the Hidden City of Balkai, because it's a simple level, but it's also a little bit complicated. It's a nice mix in between challenge and fun, which that's saying a lot for being full frontal assault. The game is not that fun. Anybody who's played it kind of knows it's really not that fun. I think Hidden City of Balkai gives you the absolute most fun that you're looking for in the game, especially because you do revisit this planet later in a snowy atmosphere. But if I didn't count that, it would still just go to the normal Hidden City of Balkai. Ratchet & Clank Into the Nexus is a very fun, but also unfortunately very short game. Nexus only features 6 levels in total, with one of them being the intro, and another one being the arena planet. So there's only 4 expansive planets in the game. I think people who played this game would say their favorite is Planet Thram, with its expansiveness and the fun hunt for all of the Gargathon horns. Most fans will probably say, no, screw that level, I like Psylocke. Psylocke is the most fun planet. And I was very, very close to agreeing with you. This planet is easily the most memorable and fun planet in the game. So much to do, so much to see, some amazing jetpack sections, including a rehash of the original sewer escape sequence of Realgar in the first game, but a little bit changed and a little bit not as terrifying. But yeah, this level literally has everything to offer. But personally, it's not my favorite. I personally absolutely love the arena planet Crag more. This is easily the best arena the franchise has to offer, utilizing every tool Ratchet has in his arsenal. From the hover boots to the jetpack, every challenge offered a really unique and fun time. And that is why I am giving the edge to Planet Crag. I know that's a hot take. I know everybody is going to disagree with me, but you have to admit, it is the best arena the franchise has ever had. You gotta at least give me that. Unfortunately, Ratchet & Clank 2016 is a remake of the first game, but cuts out most of the really good levels from the original 2002 release. Levels like Altanis, Gemlik Moonbase, and Eudora were all left out due to time crunch and the change in the storyline. Kirwan is also changed to Aliro City, which is very unfortunate as this planet lacks any personality or inspiration, as it's just a worse version of the original Kirwan. The level that I think is the best in this game personally is the one that had the most drastic change from the original, that being Planet Gaspar. This level has everything the original has, plus more. After clearing the first section of Gaspar, you unlock the sector where you get access to the jetpack, and you get to fly around the entire open world and just do whatever the heck you want while collecting telepathopus brains. That is a mouthful. This planet is just such a fun and expansive time. I think everybody can agree with me that this was actually one of the good changes of the Ratchet & Clank remake. And finally, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Rift Apart has a lot of really awesome and expansive levels. I know I've said that a lot, but they just keep getting better and better and better. Insomniac, keep cooking, dude. Don't stop them from cooking. Unfortunately, though, with some of these levels, you are forced to play as either Ratchet or Rivet, respectively. You cannot interchange. You can't go to a Rivet planet as Ratchet. You can't go to a Ratchet planet as Rivet. But I don't truly think that that takes away from the level design or the overall experience. It just kind of changes the dialogue and a little bit of the story. But I'm going to go ahead and pick one planet for each character just for fairness. So I would say that Blizar Prime is the best planet for Rivet. This planet has you going back and forth through dimensions to traverse around and find your way to the drill so you can make the required phase quartz needed to rebuild the Dimensionator. The problem is that the entire time that you're trying to do this, there is freaking goons for less ambushing you at every freaking corner. There's a lot of combat, but it's actually really, really fun combat. I love the combat in Rift Apart. So I think this level does the combat right, it does the adventure portion right, it does the platforming right. I think everything about this level is just done right. So I respect Insomniac for that. And the best level as Ratchet, I think we can all probably see what's coming here. But the best planet as Ratchet is easily Savali. This level introduces the hover boots in the game, as well as KT-7461, also known as Kit. This is definitely one of the biggest levels in the entire game. Many objectives, many side quests to do, and the best part about it is you just get to go wherever the heck you want, while zooming at full frickin' speed with your hover boots. The hover boots were done beautifully in Rift Apart. They are the most fun they have ever been. They're so fast, they're so fun, you can do tricks on them. I absolutely love them, and I think that's why this level is just so freaking fun. This level is also revisited later in the game, but it's in a bit more linear aspect. But it's still a really fun level to come back to again. You're like, ooh, yay, Savali. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know if you agree or disagree with me on some of my planet takes. Let me know what your favorite planet is in the franchise, in each game. Feel free to let me know in the comments. I love reading every single comment. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this. Please let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much, members. You guys are absolutely amazing. Shoutouts to Alex for the 50 member bomb this month, which is why this list is so gosh dang big this month. If you want to become a member, click the link down below or click the join button on my channel. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one.